on this wild card weekend. Every matchup is fantastic, and the one we're getting into in this video is the Cowboys and the Seahawks. Now we got two 10-6 teams, and they have similar builds. So they both have quarterbacks that can move. They both have top flight wide receivers. They both have very strong running games. Both of them have defenses predicated on getting after the quarterback as well. It's going to be tight. It really is. In games like this, where everybody kind of matches up evenly on paper, you have to dig deeper. You have to peel back a few layers and look at what's under the surface. Now, for the Cowboys, it's been, it's showtime. It's flash. It's Jerry Jones's stamp is all over this team. They care about big plays. They care about dominant-looking sorts of things. They don't necessarily care always about the nuts and bolts of things. You can look at the roster top to bottom. They have flashy names with very little depth surrounding them. And it's mostly because of his influence on the front office, but that's kind of how it's been since he's owned the team. Now, Dak Prescott, great. Amari Cooper, great. Ezekiel Elliott, great. They have brought in a couple of young receivers that are working pretty well now that they actually have that number one guy. The offensive line hasn't produced exactly as well as it has in the past due to some injuries, but Ezekiel Elliott is still Ezekiel Elliott. He's doing very good things with what's in front of him. I just think that Seattle's defense is ready for that. Seattle has a defensive-minded head coach, and they've been running a very strong scheme for a long time. They're not the Legion of Boom anymore. Okay, let's get that out of the way. They don't have that stable of defensive linemen that can get after you with all of those DBs and safeties just waiting to make a play on the ball. But because of that strong scheme, and it's been there for a number of years, the people that they're rotating into the lineup now, they know what they're doing. All right, they've actually been able to clamp down when needed in some very important games for them so far at the end of this season. They just beat the crap out of the Chiefs. So they've gone up against top flight talent and come out victorious. I think the X factors in this game are between Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. When you compare Russell Wilson to Dak Prescott, they have strong arms, they can both move. Russell Wilson has far more playoff experience, and he really exudes everything you want your team leader to exude. He's very professional about certain things, but man, he is football first all the way, and he's a class guy. He's the kind of person that Dak Prescott can certainly turn into and aspire to be, but I don't think Dak's there quite yet. Now, on the coaching side of things, Pete Carroll is all energy. He is the engine that drives this entire franchise. That guy, he is a nuclear reactor of energy. He's fiery. He's a great leader, and he schematically can do a lot of things. And, well, hey, he's learned some lessons over the years. He had head coaching spots before when he ran the Patriots and when he was the man in Southern California running USC. So he's got a depth of experience that you just don't have from Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett was the hand-picked guy from Jerry Jones, and sometimes you just think he's a Muppet, all right? Sometimes you just think that he's just going along with what old Jerry wants, and you don't want that from a head coach. You want that fiery leadership that'll do it their way regardless of what ownership wants, because that's the job that they're paid to do, to know the coaching and, step in and do the thing that the owner can't do on the sideline. That's not the man Jason Garrett has shown himself to be this season. So, in spite of the talent being very, very similar on both sides and the strengths being very, very similar on both sides on paper, I expect Seattle to come away with this. I actually expect them to walk away with it late in the game. It'll be close early, but in the third and fourth quarter, I expect Seattle to just outclass the Cowboys with their grit and determination. So, it's been a good season, Cowboys fans. It really has. But expect Jason Garrett to be on the hot seat after this one.